James Gunn is fired. Get it? Gunn, fired. You got it. Hey, did you know you can watch all our shows using the TYT app? Just go to tyt.com/app. See, we made it easy for you. So James Gunn, who directed and wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, was fired from his job on the third film, because he did the first two, due to some tweets that got resurfaced from as long ago as, what, like 15, 14 years. The Walt Disney chairman Alan Horn said, the offensive attitudes and statements discovered on James's Twitter feed are indefensible and inconsistent with our studio's values, and we have severed our business relationship with him. What are those tweets? Those tweets were a bunch of like child rape jokes, and they were from a long time ago. So what do you guys think? Did you read the tweets?
2008, 2009.
2008, 2009, so 10 years ago. I thought they were from 2004, I don't know why. Because it was a very 2004 style of joke.
So he was a grown man still when he.
Grown man who tweeted a bunch of stuff. So what do you guys think? Should he have lost his job first of all?
Yeah. Well, I mean, now with the way things have transpired when it comes to things of this nature, yeah.
Why?
You know, just because. Okay, no, I think that Disney did what they had to do to save face for Disney, because at the end of the day, it's about the bottom line, it's about money, and as we were talking before, these are very controversial topics and very controversial things that should not have come to a head. Should he have lost his job is a question.
His defense is, I was a shock like tweeter.
Right.
That's, yeah.
And that was a thing to like do dead baby jokes, child rape jokes in that era among like people who were kind of hacky.
I think it's okay to draw a line at child rape. I just do. And I think that we oftentimes when something like this happens, it's, well, everybody has bad things in their past. I am sure I have bad things in my past. What I don't have are racist jokes and tweets and rape and child rape jokes and tweets. And I mean, I think that there's bad or stupid kid things, and then there's rape and pedophilia and racism. And oftentimes those things are just like, oh, he was a kid or she was a kid. And I don't know if I mean.
So here's my thing.
It's a lot, it was a lot of child rape jokes.
You see this is the image that everybody saw. And that's a lot of tweets, right?
Yeah.
But if you go through the logic that this guy is making child rape jokes and somehow being somewhat endorsing that behavior, is that what it is?
It's that he thinks child rape is funny.
And that's
I don't think it makes him a child rapist. I don't think anyone, but I think that you shouldn't have to have been a victim of child sex abuse to think that it's not funny.
So this is himself. Many people know who have followed my career know when I started, I viewed myself as a provocateur, making movies and telling jokes that were outrageous and taboo. As I've discussed publicly many times, as I develop as a person, so has my work and my humor. Continuing on, it's not to say I'm better, but I'm very different than I was a few years ago. Today I try to root my work in love and connection and in less in anger. My days saying something just because it's shocking and trying to get a reaction are over. Next up, for the record, when I made these shocking jokes, I wasn't living them out. I know this is a weird statement to make and seems obvious, but still here I am saying it.
His apology is sincere. A lot of the stars from the Guardians of the Galaxy have also spoken out on his behalf. Chris Pratt, who was fiercely devout Christian, said, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters, let every person be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. That's James 1:19.
So what does that mean?
Well, according to him, he's saying that we should like hear him out, I guess, and possibly try to lean on some understanding. Zoe Saldana also said something similar to that.
Grace hasn't said bupkis.
I know, and I know I should because it's my job.
Yep, Grace.
It's really tricky because I'm a fan of his work, and so and that's not an excuse for. I don't think that any of these jokes are funny. I don't think he or his brother. I'm glad you brought up the statement from his brother, because that's what I was reading this morning, and I was like, damn, like that's kind of where I find myself falling. I don't really have a collective opinion on this, but
yeah.
But what? You want to wish that he hadn't made those statements so you could still like the movie.
Yeah, because I also think,
and
what
you
if I
also
wasn't
think they were just jokes at the time, but you don't want to belittle the experience of people who have encountered child rape, all that stuff. I will say this, like he isn't endorsing child rape, he is making those jokes, and at the heart of it is like the logic doesn't even hold up. He's saying like sad children's books. He's not like saying this would be an awesome children's book. It would be sad if the Hardy Boys' uncle fisted him. And it's a difficult line to walk because at this point, that's not his comedy. And of course it's not his comedy because it would not find an audience right now. Back then, it was like a strain of comedy before he really found his legs. And now he has found his legs in a comedy that is not that. And at no point was he endorsing child rape. So people like frickin' Ted Cruz who say, wow, these James Gunn tweets are horrible. Child rape is no laughing matter. Okay, fine. But he's like, I'm glad Disney fired him, but if these tweets are true, he needs to be prosecuted. That's not even remotely close to it.
Right. I also kind of had this moment this morning of being like, if I wasn't a fan of his work, if I wasn't a fan, how hard would I come down on him? And like, that's a problem. And so a lot of this is sort of made me question myself in the sense of how I respond to controversy and stories like this, and I'm not necessarily proud of how I'm reconciling this, but I want to be really honest about it. Where I'm like, I see this, I really like his movies, and then I feel myself making more allowances. And is that okay? I'm not sure that it is.
So, can R. Kelly retweet these jokes? Because a lot of them are retweets. Is it because we have evidence of the differences of who they are personally? Is it funny if R. Kelly does it? Can that be separate? Like, oh, these are just. So why?
Because he doesn't mean it. Like there's a spirit of the joke. He doesn't mean it. I'm not saying these are the most sensitive jokes. I'm not saying they're utterly sensitive. Yeah. But should this guy direct Guardians? I mean, there's the rule like it's Disney, you better watch out. And I get it because it's a family company and Disney's saving face. I don't think they're taking a stance to like stand up for what they believe in. It's their marketing prowess. I will just say this, that the guy who originally tweeted, who unearthed these tweets, Mike Cernovich and his group, literally tweeted this. Have you guys ever tried raping a girl without using force? Try it, it's basically impossible. Date rape does not exist. This is a guy who tweets it in earnest to try to communicate a message that he believes in. This James Gunn was being an idiot. He knows he was being an idiot. He was an idiot 10 years ago, and since then, through his work, he's proven that he's not that idiot anymore. And I'm not saying like you should go out tweeting this stuff. Of course not. And you know who will tell you that? Who stopped doing that was James Gunn a while ago on his own.
All right. I mean, yeah, I think the idea that some people can joke about child rape and some can't is a lot for me.
Well, it's clear that if you've done child rape, this is not a joke, this is your life. And if you have not done it and you're James Gunn and you're just a hacky comedian at the time, that's different. It's stupid, but not guilty.